everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel again, and I hope you all are doing fine. It's getting really chilly here in the UK now, and we are a month away from Christmas, which is really exciting. So today's topic that we are talking about is something that I really practice in my everyday life, and also something that has been my goal in 2020, which was to read more, So reading basically is such a close part of my lifestyle, because I have been reading, I think, ever since I could read. So I've always been a kid who's loved books. Growing up in school and college, I still loved reading a lot of books. I think in college time it was more romantic novels and self-development novels, but right now my focus has changed to reading books that are more related to lifestyle, more related to living a more fulfilled life, which is so much in principle with the values that I hold. So in 2020 I had set myself an aim to read more, and I cannot stress enough how much it has helped me to improve my life and help overall in my own personal development as a human being, as well as help me achieve my goals. So today I am going to share with you the 3 must-read books. These books will totally change your life. Trust me, they have a power. Books and reading has a power on you that nothing else can, have on your personality. Books definitely have a power to change your mind, to change how you think, to give you a different outlook towards life, and just overall to help you live a more fulfilled life. So that's why I am here stressing on the importance of reading. I understand that in today's world, not everybody wants to read from a paper book. There are many options out there now. You can read online books, there are ebooks, there are audio books. Some people prefer to listen to audio books. So there is all sorts out there, So if you're not somebody who likes to hold a book in your hand and read, I am very traditional that way in terms of reading. I like to have a paper book and to hold it and read it. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can obviously opt for a Kindle and read electronically. There are so many books available online. You can also have an audio book where you don't even have to read, you just listen to it, but you have to give your undivided attention. So today we are going to focus on the 3 must-read books, or the books that will change your life, and I highly recommend these books. It was really difficult for me to zero down to 3, but I like to do things in 3, so I think it's just easier. So these are the 3 books that I'm going to recommend, but besides, I also have other books that I think are so important to read, that I will mention all of them as well at the end of the video, and if I remember any more, I will link them as well for you. So this Christmas as well, why don't you do something different and gift your friends and family a book, one of these books that I'm recommending, because you will definitely thank me later, because it's such an important tool to help your life get better. So I'm going to link all the books as well down in the description box below, and then you can go and make your purchases from there. If you have any different books that you want to suggest to me that I should read, please feel free. I have a few to read books as well on my list that I'm so crazily, waiting to lay my hands on. I'm also reading a book currently, so I will share all that with you. So now let's get into it. So the 3 must-read books. The first one that I'm going to talk about is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I cannot stress how important this book is. It has changed my outlook towards life. It has also helped me become more effective in whatever I do. So The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is really a book that I recommend, and it is something that you definitely must read. It talks about, let's just go into a brief, because I don't want to tell you the whole thing, because it's a book obviously, so I cannot read the whole thing to you. That's going to take us hours here, and we don't want that. But I can just give you a gist what it is basically talking about. So the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People basically talks about you being first proactive. It talks about you being proactive, planning your stuff, using your resources wisely. It talks about you being proactive. Second, it talks about also how you can always work by keeping the end in the mind. So you always need to begin by keeping the end in the mind. So anything that you do, you need to have like an end goal. For example, say if I decide that I'm going to bake a cake, the end product is the cake. Obviously, I then need to begin with knowing how my cake will look like in my mind. So have a picture of it. Then accordingly, I will need the ingredients. So I go and plan according to that. So that's what he means by begin with the end in the mind. So the first one is being proactive. Second is begin with the end in the mind. And the third one that I thought of, which is, something I thought that I could share with you, is about the win-win. So he talks about a win-win quality, that people who are highly effective and successful always have this win-win mindset, where they are not worried about somebody else winning, but they think that the universe is abundant and there is enough for everyone. That's what I always stress on. There is enough for everyone. Everyone can have an abundant living. So there you go. That's a little bit of summary. Obviously, these are the 3 points among the 7 habits of highly effective people. But you will read so much more in the book and you will be so mesmerized by how much sense it makes. It's really, really something that you should read. So the first one is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The second book that I am going to talk about and I highly recommend is The 5 Love Languages. 5 Love Languages is such an amazing book for you to understand your relationships with people, to make your relationships with people better. I think, often people fail in relationships or don't do well in relationships because they don't understand that every other person has a love language. How interesting is that? Did you know that there are love languages? I didn't either until I read the book, and it's such an interesting book. For example, to give you just a little bit of idea, it is, for some people, physical touch is a love language. They crave for a physical touch. They want a hug, they want a kiss, they want to hold hands. So that is the physical touch. Whereas for some people, it is acts of appreciation or acts of kindness. So that's another love language. So these are the 2 languages that really stood out to me. One was physical touch, the other one was acts of appreciation. For somebody in a relationship, maybe a husband-wife relationship, the wife would like appreciation. She would like to be recognized or acknowledged for what she does. For example, if she cooks her husband a lovely meal, she would want an appreciation in return for that. So that is her love language, and if you give her what she wants, she's really gonna be happy. For some others, it could be physical touch. Maybe some other wife, she just likes physical touch, likes hugs, likes holding hands and stuff like that. So understanding the love language of a person is really, really important to love them in the right way. And this book is super, super awesome at that. It tells you how to recognize the love languages. There are some little activities that you can do to recognize your love language. Mine is definitely act of appreciations. That's my love language, just for you to know. I know what Kristen's love language is as well. So it is really interesting. It helps you know your love languages. So that is the second book that I definitely recommend, which is The 5 Love Languages. And that brings me to the last one, which is the one that I'm currently reading. It is called the Ikigai. This is the book and I absolutely love it. I had heard about this book from so many people and I was waiting to read it. I just was reading other books and took my time, but I'm so much in love with this book. I'm totally hooked. This is the book. It is Ikigai is the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. And I can't tell you how interesting the book is. It sort of leaves you spellbound. It leaves you thinking that it is such an amazing book. I don't want to reveal much because I want you to read it and feel what I feel yourselves. It will transport you like to a different world, and it is just amazing. And Ikigai means finding your purpose in life. It's basically the thing that makes you want to get out of bed every morning. How interesting is that? So it talks about how the Japanese, they live the longest, and finding your purpose in life is so important towards a fulfilled life. I cannot stress enough on that. So definitely, Ikigai is one I would recommend. So these are my top 3 recommendations that I really recommend that you should read. Besides these, I have some other books that have really touched my life and my journey, so I thought I will mention them as well. If you have any more questions with respect to these, please feel free to ask me. But like I said, I'm going to link all of these down below in the description. You can go and make your purchases, and it's just super amazing. It's like you can gift yourself knowledge, and there's nothing more than giving yourself knowledge of and the power to change your life, basically. So some of the other books that I would recommend, which I've read a while back, is The Secret. That is also really important. It just helps you unleash your powers. It teaches you about manifestation, so definitely recommend The Secret. Then you have The Alchemist, which is also such a lovely book. It talks about how we try to look for happiness outside us, but how happiness is actually at the crux of us and inside us, within us. So that is another important book. Then I have The Good Vibes, Good Life. This is also a book that I read very recently. Good Vibes, Good Life by Vex King, and it's an amazing book too. It will just change your perspective towards looking at things. It will change your world. It will just make such a huge difference in how you look at the world. So Good Vibes, Good Life is definitely something that you should read. Then the other one that I can think of is Becoming. Becoming is a book by Michelle Obama. It's such an interesting book. It talks everything about her story, about her childhood, about how much her life changed after she became the first lady, after her husband became the president. So that's an interesting book as well, a total must read. Then there are many others, so I also have a highlight on my Instagram, if you do not know, where you can go and check out the books. They are all in a highlight called as books, and all the books that I read are over there. Trust me, reading is something that will change your life, and I think nowadays all of us have so much time. With the pandemic, people are just at home doing nothing, sometimes wasting hours in front of the telly or just scrolling, without any mindfulness on their phones. So why not just spend your time and invest your time in reading a book that could actually change your life? And I agree that on Christmas you can give friends and relatives many gifts. You can give them, some designer bags, you can give them some branded clothes, you can give them chocolates, you can give them food. But there is nothing more than a book that is the ideal gift as per me, because it adds so much value to your life. Trust me on that. And once you start reading, you will automatically get into the habit. For people who find reading difficult or not a habit that they normally follow, I'll say just start by reading maybe for 15 minutes a day. I make it a point to read at least 30 minutes a day. So that's been my target. Obviously, it was one of my resolutions for 2020 to read more books, and I'm definitely there. I'm so happy about it. It has made a hell loads of difference in the way I perceive things, the way I perceive people. I cannot stress enough on the importance of reading and how much value it is going to add to your life. So definitely please go ahead and read, and don't forget, I shall see you in my next video. Till then, be positive and live your life to the fullest. Bye.